The warning lights flashed red across the control panel as Do-hyun Kim fought to keep his ship steady. Something was wrong with his star charts. The planet below him was not supposed to exist. According to every map in the Earth military database, this sector of space was empty. His mechanical left arm jerked suddenly, sending sparks across the cockpit. The cybernetic limb had replaced his real arm 3 years ago during the Mars Colony War. Usually it worked perfectly, but now it was failing when he needed it most. "Come on," Do-hyun muttered through gritted teeth, trying to restart his ship's engines. The Soul's Pride was humanity's newest reconnaissance vessel, built for deep space missions. It should have been able to handle a simple navigation error. But this was not simple. His neural interface, the computer chip implanted in his brain, was flooding his mind with error messages. Red text scrolled across his vision faster than he could read it. The pain in his head was getting worse with each passing second. Below him, the strange planet grew larger. It had crystalline forests that sparkled like diamonds in the light of its orange sun. Silver rivers wound between mountains that seemed to glow with their own inner light. It was beautiful, but Do-hyun had no time to appreciate the view. His ship was going down, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. The last thing Do-hyun remembered before the crash was thinking about Haiwan. She was back on Earth's orbital station, probably wondering why he had not sent his daily message. They were not supposed to be together. Military rules forbade relationships between pilots. But Do-hyun loved her, and he knew she loved him too. He also thought about the data chip hidden in his jacket pocket. It contained classified information about humanity's secret weapons program. Information that could change the course of the war if it fell into the wrong hands. Information that he was supposed to deliver to the outer colonies. Now it would probably burn up with his ship. The Soul's Pride hit the planet's surface like a meteor. It carved a burning scar across the crystalline forest before finally coming, to rest in a crater of melted rock and twisted metal. Smoke rose from the wreckage as strange, bird-like creatures fled the scene. Do-hyun drifted in and out of consciousness for what felt like days. Sometimes he thought he heard voices speaking in a language he did not recognize. Other times he felt gentle hands touching his face, checking his injuries. His mechanical arm was completely dead, hanging useless at his side. When he finally woke up fully, Do-hyun found himself in a place that made no sense. The walls around him seemed to be alive. They pulsed gently with blue and green light, like the inside of some enormous creature. The ceiling was covered with what looked like veins, carrying glowing liquid from one end of the room to the other. "This has to be a dream," Do-hyun whispered. His throat was dry and his voice came out as a croak. "You are awake." "Good." Do-hyun turned his head and saw the speaker. It was definitely not human. The being stood about 7 feet tall with pale blue skin that had a faint shimmer to it. It had 2 legs and 2 arms like a human, but also another pair of arms growing from its shoulders. Its face was roughly human-shaped, but its eyes were larger and completely black. When it spoke, Do-hyun could see that its teeth were pointed like a shark's. "Who are you?" Do-hyun asked, trying to sit up. His body ached all over, but nothing seemed to be broken. "I am Taemin," the being said. Its voice was deep and calm. "I am what my people call a memory keeper. I care for those who are injured or lost." Do-hyun blinked hard. Sure, he was hallucinating, but when he opened his eyes, Taemin was still there. "You are speaking Korean," Do-hyun said slowly. "How do you know Korean?" Taemin tilted his head as if the question confused him. "We know many languages. We have been listening to your people for a long time." "Listening? What do you mean listening?" Instead of answering, Taemin moved to a strange control panel that looked like it was made of living coral. He touched several spots with his 4 hands, and a section of the wall became transparent. Through it, Do-hyun could see his ship. or what was left of it. The soul's pride was completely destroyed. The hull was cracked open like an egg, and the inside was burned black. No one could have survived that crash. Except somehow, Do-hyun had. "How am I alive?" he asked. "We pulled you from the wreckage," Taemin explained. "You were near death, but we were able to heal most of your injuries. Your mechanical arm, however, is beyond our ability to repair." Do-hyun looked down at his cybernetic limb. It was completely still, the lights that usually indicated its status all dark. Without it, he felt incomplete. The arm had become part of who he was. "We have been expecting you, Do-hyun Kim of Earth," Taemin continued. "We have been expecting you for quite some time." The words hit Do-hyun like a physical blow. "What did you say?" "We have been expecting you. You have been calling to us across the void between stars. Your mind burns brighter than most humans. We could not ignore such a signal. That's impossible. This is the first time I've ever been in this sector of space. This planet wasn't even on my charts." Taemin's black eyes seemed to look right through him. "Charts can be wrong, Do-hyun Kim, but the connections between conscious minds are never wrong. You have been broadcasting your thoughts to us for months." Do-hyun's blood turned cold. Broadcasting his thoughts? His neural interface was military. Technology, encrypted and secured. It was not possible for aliens to intercept his thoughts. "Unless my cybernetic systems," he said slowly. "You're picking up signals from my cybernetic systems." "Yes, and not just yours. We have detected many like you, humans with mechanical parts that sing across the darkness. They all carry the same signature, the same quantum resonance." "Quantum resonance?" Do-hyun had never heard that term before. "What are you talking about?" Taemin was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was filled with something that sounded like sadness. "You do not know, do you? Your leaders have not told you what they put inside your bodies. They have not told you why they chose you for augmentation." "What are you saying?" "I am saying, Do-hyun Kim, that you and others like you are in great danger. And through you, your entire species is in danger as well." Before Do-hyun could ask what, he meant Taemin touched the wall again. The transparent section showed a new image, space, filled with stars. But there was something else. Shapes moving between the stars. Ships, hundreds of them, all heading in the same direction, heading toward Earth. "The Devourers come," Taemin said quietly, "and they follow the signals from minds like yours." Do-hyun stared at the image of the approaching ships until his eyes burned. Each vessel was massive, larger than anything humanity had ever built. They moved through space in perfect formation, like a school of deadly fish swimming through an ocean of stars. "How many?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "More than your people can fight," Taemin replied. "The Devourers have been growing their fleet for centuries. They consume entire worlds, adding the knowledge and technology of each civilization to their own." The transparent wall shifted to show Do-hyun's own ship again. Several blue-skinned beings were carefully searching through the wreckage, handling each piece of debris with great care. "We are trying to understand your technology," Taemin explained. "Perhaps we can find a way to block the signals that draw the Devourers to your people." Do-hyun tried to stand, but his legs were still weak. "I have to warn Earth. I have to tell them what's coming. Your communication equipment was destroyed in the crash. But do not worry. We have already begun trying to contact your people through other means." "Other means?" Before Taemin could answer, another being entered the room. This one was shorter than Taemin, with the same blue skin, but wearing what looked like a robe made of liquid metal. In his 4 hands, he carried a crystal tablet that glowed with soft white light. "This is Young-ho," Taemin said. "He is our chief archivist. He keeps the records of all the knowledge we have gathered." Young-ho approached Do-hyun and held out the crystal tablet. We have compiled what we know about you, Do-hyun Kim. Perhaps you would like to see it. Do-hyun took the tablet with his good hand. It was warm to the touch and seemed to respond to his thoughts. As soon as he focused on it, text began appearing on its surface. Text in Korean. What he read made his blood turn to ice. The tablet contained his complete military record. Not just the basic information that might be in a personnel file, but everything. His psychological evaluations, his medical history, details about missions that were classified far above his security level, information that should have been impossible for anyone to access. But that was not the worst part. The tablet also contained information about his personal life. His relationship with Haiwan, the secret meetings they had in empty storage bays on the orbital station, the promises they had made to each other, things that no one else could possibly know. And then, at the bottom of the file, Do-hyun found something that made his hands shake. A medical report dated just 1 week before his departure from Earth. A report about Haiwan that he had never seen before. She was pregnant. And according to the report, she had never told him. "How do you have this?" Do-hyun demanded, his voice rising. "How could you possibly have this information?" Young-ho's 4 black eyes blinked in sequence, like a camera shutter. "We see the threads that connect all conscious beings. Your people call it quantum entanglement. But it is much more than that. It is the web of consciousness that binds all thinking creatures together." That's impossible, is it? Your cybernetic implants use quantum processors, do they not? They create quantum fields in your brain. These fields reach across space and time, connecting you to other minds whether you know it or not. Taemin moved closer to Do-hyun. Your mind blazes brighter than most humans, perhaps because of your augmentations. You have been broadcasting your thoughts and memories across the galaxy without knowing it. Do-hyun set the tablet down with trembling hands. If you can see all of this, then you know about the data chip. The classified information I was carrying. Young-ho nodded slowly. The weapons program. Yes, we know about it. Your leaders have been developing technology based on recovered alien artifacts. Technology that was not meant for human minds. Alien artifacts? What alien artifacts? Taemin and Young-ho exchanged a look that Do-hyun could not interpret. "Show him," Young-ho said finally. Taemin touched the wall controls again. The transparent section now showed a 3-dimensional map of Do-hyun's home solar system. But it was wrong. There were ships around every planet, ships that Do-hyun had never seen before. They were sleek and silver, with designs that reminded him of the Soul's Pride. "Earth's defensive fleet," Taemin said. "Built using technology recovered from a crashed ship on one of your outer moons 15 years ago." "Titan," Do-hyun breathed. "There was an incident on Titan, but the official reports said it was a mining accident." The official reports were false. A Devourer scout ship crashed on Titan. Your military leaders reverse-engineered its technology to build your current fleet. They also used it to create the cybernetic implants that you and others carry. The room seemed to spin around Do-hyun. "You're saying my augmentations are made from Devourer technology?" "Yes. And the Devourers can track their own technology across any distance. Every human with cybernetic implants is broadcasting a signal that calls to them. You are all beacons, guiding the Devourer fleet straight to Earth." Do-hyun felt sick. "How long do we have?" Young-ho consulted his crystal tablet. "Based on their current speed and trajectory, the Devourer fleet will reach your solar system in approximately 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Do-hyun closed his eyes and tried to think. "Can you block the signals? Can you stop the beacons?" "We have been trying for months," Taemin admitted. "But the quantum entanglement is too strong. The signals are woven into the very fabric of your augmented minds. To stop them completely would require removing the implants entirely. Then that's what we have to do." We have to warn Earth and tell them to remove the implants from all augmented personnel. Young-ho shook his head sadly. It is not that simple. The removal process would kill most of the recipients. The cybernetic systems have become too integrated with their biological functions. And even if it were possible, your military leaders would never agree to disable their most effective pilots and soldiers. Do-hyun opened his eyes and stared at the map of his home system. Somewhere out there, Hai-wan was waiting for him to return. She was carrying his child, a child she had never told him about. And in 6 weeks, a fleet of alien destroyers would arrive to consume everything he had ever loved. There has to be another way, he said desperately. Tae-min placed one of his forehands on Do-hyun's shoulder. Perhaps there is. But it would require you to accept something that your people may find difficult to believe. What? The Devourers were not always destroyers. Long ago they were explorers like your people. They sought knowledge and understanding across the galaxy. But something changed them. Something turned them into the monsters they are today. Young-ho stepped forward. We believe that change can be reversed. We believe the Devourers can be reminded of what they once were, but it would require a connection to their collective consciousness, a connection that could only be made through someone with the right kind of augmented mind. Do-hyun looked down at his dead mechanical arm. You're talking about me. Yes. Your cybernetic systems are already tuned to Devourer frequencies. With our help, you could learn to control that connection instead of being controlled by it. You could reach into their collective mind and plant the seeds of their original nature. And if it doesn't work? Taemin's black eyes reflected the light from the glowing walls. Then your people will face extinction, and we will be alone in the galaxy once again. Do-hyun was quiet for a long time, thinking about Hae-won and their unborn child, thinking about Earth and all the people who would die if the Devourers arrived, thinking about the choice that now lay before him. Finally, he looked up at Tae-min and Young-ho. What do you need me to do? The next morning, a younger seer named Sun-woo arrived to examine Do-hyun's cybernetic arm. Sun-woo looked different from Tae-min and Young-ho. His blue skin had a brighter hue, and his movements were quick and energetic. He carried a collection of strange tools that seemed to grow and change shape in his hands. I am a scientist, Sun-woo explained as he began working on Do-hyun's arm. I study the connection between consciousness and technology. Your augmentations are quite fascinating. Do-hyun watched as Sun-woo attached thin, glowing wires to various points on his mechanical limb. Can you fix it? Perhaps. But first I need to understand how it works. Your technology is based on quantum processors. Yes? Tiny computers that exist in multiple states at once? I don't know the technical details. The military doctors just told me it would work like a normal arm. Sun-woo made a sound that might have been laughter. Normal? This is far from normal. These quantum processors are not just controlling your arm movements. They are creating quantum fields that extend far beyond your body, fields that connect you to other augmented humans across space. As Sun-woo worked, Do-hyun felt a strange tingling sensation in his mind. It was like hearing a distant radio station that was almost, but not quite, tuned in properly. Do you feel that? Sun-woo asked, looking up from his work. Yes. What is it? I am amplifying your quantum signature. You are now connected to the network of augmented humans in your galaxy. Try to focus on the sensation. What do you perceive? Do-hyun closed his eyes and concentrated. The tingling grew stronger, and suddenly he could sense other minds. Dozens of them, scattered across space. Some were clear and focused, others were confused or frightened. One mind felt familiar. Hae-won, he whispered. Your partner, Sun-woo said. It was not a question. She has also been augmented, has she? Not! Do-hyun's eyes snapped open. No, she's a pilot, but she doesn't have any cybernetic implants. Sun Wu's expression grew sad. I am sorry, Do-hyun, but I can sense her augmentations clearly. She received them after you left Earth. Neural implants, similar to yours but more advanced. The world seemed to tilt around Do-hyun. Why would they give her implants? She was already one of the best pilots in the fleet. Perhaps you should ask her yourself. Sun Wu adjusted his equipment, and suddenly Do-hyun could hear Haewon's voice in his mind as clearly as if she were standing next to him. Do-hyun? Do-hyun, is that you? Her mental voice was filled with relief and love, but also with fear. Do-hyun tried to respond, focusing his thoughts toward her. Haewon, I'm here. I'm alive. Thank the stars. Your ship disappeared 3 days ago. They said you were probably dead. Where are you? I crashed on an uncharted planet. Haewon, why do you have cybernetic implants? Sun Wu says you've been augmented. There was a long pause before she answered. They came to me the day after you left. They said it was a new program for elite pilots. They said it would make me faster, better. They didn't give me a choice. Do-hyun felt anger rising in his chest. Who gave the order? General Park. He said it was classified. Top secret. I couldn't even tell you about it when you contacted me. General Park. Do-hyun knew the name. He was the military leader in charge of the augmentation program. The man who had personally overseen Do-hyun's own surgery after the Mars incident. Haewon, there's something else. I know about the pregnancy. Her mental voice became very quiet. How? The aliens here, they can access information through quantum connections. They showed me your medical records. Why didn't you tell me? I was going to. When you came back from your mission, I wanted to tell you in person. Do-hyun felt his heart breaking. How is the baby? Is everything all right? The doctors say the baby is developing normally, but there's something strange. The quantum fields from my implants seem to be affecting the child's brain development. They say the baby might be born with natural quantum awareness. Sun Wu looked up from his work. A hybrid consciousness, part human, part quantum entity. Such a child could be the bridge between our species and yours. Do-hyun barely heard him. Haewon, you need to listen to me. The cybernetic implants are beacons. They're calling to an alien fleet called the Devourers. Earth is in danger. What are you talking about? The technology in our implants comes from a crashed alien ship. The aliens who built it are coming to reclaim it, and they'll destroy Earth to get it. Haewon's mental voice was filled with disbelief. That's impossible. The implant technology was developed by our own scientists. No, it wasn't. General Park and the others have been lying to us from the beginning. Before Haewon could respond, her voice was cut off. Sun Wu looked up from his equipment with concern. The connection has been severed from her end. Someone has activated jamming fields around her location. Do-hyun tried to reach out to Haewon again, but found only silence. Can you restore the connection? Not while the jamming fields are active. Someone on Earth does not want you two to communicate. At that moment, Tae-min entered the room along with another seer that Do-hyun had not met before. This one was taller than the others, with silver hair that seemed to move on its own like liquid metal. She carried herself with the authority of a leader. This is Mi Young, Tae-min said. She leads our settlement. Mi Young approached Do-hyun and studied him with eyes that seemed to see right through his skin. We have been monitoring the communications from your home world. Your military leaders are aware that something is wrong with the augmentation program. What do you mean? 3 other augmented pilots have disappeared in the past week. Their ships vanished without a trace, just like yours. Your leaders suspect that the pilots are being captured or killed by an unknown enemy. Do-hyun felt a chill run down his spine. Are they? In a sense, yes. But not by an enemy. By the Devourers themselves, the quantum signals from the augmented. Pilots grow stronger as the Devourer fleet approaches. Some pilots are being pulled directly into their collective consciousness, even across vast distances. Pulled in? What does that mean? Young-ho, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. Their minds are being absorbed into the Devourer network. They become part of the collective intelligence that guides the fleet, but they retain some of their individual memories and knowledge, which means the Devourers now know everything those pilots knew, Mi Young added. They know about Earth's defenses, about your military strategies, about your weaknesses. Do Hyun stared at her in horror. How do we stop it? That is what we must determine. But first, you need to understand the full scope of what you are facing. Mi Young gestured toward the wall, and it became transparent again. This time it showed a map of the entire galaxy. Hundreds of star systems were marked with red dots. Each red dot represents a world that the Devourers have consumed, Mi Young explained. They have been expanding across the galaxy for thousands of years. Entire civilizations have been erased, their knowledge and technology absorbed into the Devourer collective. The scale of destruction was overwhelming. Du Hyun could see that entire regions of the galaxy were empty, marked only by dead star systems. How many? He asked. Billions of lives, thousands of species. The Devourers are the greatest threat our galaxy has ever known. But you survived. Your people are still here. Mi Young nodded. We learned to hide. We developed technology that shields us from their detection, but we are few in number and we cannot protect everyone. Du Hyun looked at the map again, focusing on the small blue dot that represented Earth. What chance do my people have? Alone? Very little. Your ships are fast, and your weapons are powerful, but the Devourers have the combined knowledge of every civilization they have ever conquered. They will adapt to your tactics within hours. But together, Taemin added, our species might have a chance. Your chaotic human consciousness is unlike anything the Devourers have encountered before. It could disrupt their collective mind in ways they cannot predict. Mi Young moved closer to Do Hyun. But such a plan would require a willing sacrifice. Someone would have to merge their consciousness with the Devourer network. Someone with the right kind of augmented mind. Du Hyun understood what she was asking. And if it doesn't work, then you would be lost forever, absorbed into their collective, and your people would still face extinction. Do Hyun thought about Hae-won and their unborn child. He thought about Earth and all the innocent people who had no idea what was coming. He thought about the weight of secrets and lies that had brought them all to this point. How long do I have to decide? The Devourer fleet will arrive at Earth in 5 weeks, Mi Young said. If you are going to attempt this, you will need time to prepare. Time to learn how to control your quantum connection instead of being controlled by it. Du Hyun nodded slowly. Then we'd better get started. The training began the next day in a chamber deep beneath the Seer settlement. The walls were covered with crystals that hummed with energy, and the air itself seemed to vibrate with invisible forces. Do Hyun sat in the center of the room while Chan Woo, a seer who had once been a warrior but was now some kind of monk, prepared the equipment. This will be dangerous, Chan Woo warned as he attached quantum sensors to Do Hyun's head. Human minds are not designed to handle the kind of multidimensional awareness that comes with controlling quantum fields. Many who attempt this training do not survive. What exactly will happen to me? Your consciousness will be expanded beyond the boundaries of your physical brain. You will experience thoughts and memories that are not your own. You will see time and space from perspectives that may drive you mad. Du Hyun tried to stay calm, but his heart was racing. And if I succeed? Then you will be able to navigate the quantum network that connects all augmented humans. You will be able to reach across space and touch the minds of others like yourself. And eventually, you may be able to reach into the collective consciousness of the Devourers themselves. Chan Woo activated the crystals around the room. Immediately, Do Hyun felt a rushing sensation in his mind, as if he were falling through an endless tunnel of light. The boundaries of his thoughts began to blur, and he could sense other minds pressing against his consciousness. Focus, Chanwu said, his voice seeming to come from very far away. Do not let the other minds overwhelm you. You must maintain your sense of self while still opening yourself to the network. Du Hyun tried to follow the instructions, but the sensation was overwhelming. He could feel the thoughts and emotions of dozens of other augmented humans across the galaxy. Their fears, their hopes, their memories all crashed into his mind like waves against a shore. One mind was stronger than the others, clearer, more focused. Ji-hoon, Do Hyun whispered. Ji-hoon Park had been a pilot in Do Hyun's squadron. He had disappeared 3 years ago during a routine patrol mission. His ship had been found drifting empty near the outer edge of the solar system, with no sign of what had happened to him. But now Do Hyun could sense Ji-hoon's consciousness, and what he found made his blood turn cold. Ji-hoon was alive, but he was not free. Du Hyun pushed deeper into the connection, following the quantum trail that led to his old friend. What he found was a nightmare. Ji-hoon's mind was trapped inside the collective consciousness of the Devourer fleet. His individual thoughts were still there, but they were surrounded by millions of other minds, all linked together in a vast network of shared intelligence. And at the center of it all was something ancient and terrible, a consciousness so vast and alien that Do Hyun could barely comprehend it. Ji-hoon, Do Hyun called out across the quantum link. Ji-hoon, can you hear me? Do Hyun. Ji-hoon's mental voice was weak and distorted, like a radio signal coming through static. How are you here? How are you reaching me? I'm on a planet with allies. They're teaching me to control the quantum network. Ji-hoon, what happened to you? I was captured 3 years ago. The Devourers found my ship and brought me aboard their vessel. They connected me to their collective mind. I've been trapped here ever since, forced to guide them toward inhabited worlds. The horror of it was almost too much for Do Hyun to bear. Can you break free? No. The connection is too strong. But Do Hyun, I can see everything they know. They've been preparing for the invasion of Earth for months. They know about the orbital defenses, about the weapons program, about everything. How? Other pilots. Dozens of them have been absorbed into the collective over the past year. Every time they capture one of us, they gain access to all of our knowledge and memories. Du Hyun felt the connection starting to weaken. The strain of maintaining contact across such a vast distance was enormous. Ji-hoon, listen to me. I'm going to try to disrupt their collective mind. I'm going to try to free you and the others. It's impossible. The collective is too powerful, too unified. You would be absorbed just like the rest of us. Maybe. But I have to try. Du Hyun, wait. There's something else you need to know. The Devourers aren't just coming for Earth's technology. They're coming for something specific. Something that was hidden on the planet when their scout ship crashed on Titan. What? A control device. Something that can command their entire fleet. It was lost when the ship crashed, and they've been searching for it ever since. They believe human scientists found it and reverse-engineered it into the augmentation technology. The connection suddenly snapped, leaving Do Hyun alone in his own mind. He opened his eyes to find Chan-woo looking down at him with concern. What? Did you see? The seer asked. Du Hyun told him everything. About Ji-hoon, about the other captured pilots, about the control device. Chan-woo listened in silence, his 4 arms folded across his chest. This changes things, Chan-woo said finally. If the Devourers are searching for a specific device, they may not destroy Earth immediately. They will want to recover their lost technology first. Is that good or bad? It gives us time. But it also means they will be more determined than ever to succeed. That evening, Do Hyun was resting in his quarters when Sun-woo arrived with urgent news. The young scientist looked excited and frightened at the same time. We have re-established contact with your partner, Sun-woo said. But what we discovered is quite remarkable. Du Hyun sat up quickly. Is Hae-won all right? She is well, but her pregnancy is developing in ways we did not expect. The quantum fields from her implants are not just affecting the child's brain. They are actually accelerating the pregnancy itself. What does that mean? The baby will be born within days, not months. And when it is born, it will have natural, quantum awareness, a mind that can navigate the quantum network without any technological assistance. Do-hyun stared at Sun-woo in amazement. A natural seer? More than that. A bridge between human consciousness and quantum reality. Such a child could potentially communicate with any intelligent species in the galaxy. Can I talk to Haewon? Sun-woo activated his equipment, and once again, Do-hyun felt the familiar connection to Haewon's mind. Do-hyun, her mental voice, was filled with relief. I was so worried when they cut off our communication yesterday. Are you all right? Sun-woo says the baby is coming soon. Yes. The doctors are amazed. They say the pregnancy is progressing at an impossible rate, but both the baby and I are healthy. Haewon, I need to tell you something. The control device that the Devourers are looking for, I think it might be connected to the augmentation technology. If I'm right, then our baby might be the key to stopping them. What do you mean? If the child has natural quantum awareness, she might be able to access the Devourer control systems without being absorbed into their collective mind. She could be immune to their influence. There was a long pause. Do-hyun, they're moving me to a secure facility. General Park says it's for my protection, but I think he suspects something about the baby. Don't let them separate you from the child. Whatever you do, don't let them take her away from you. I won't. But Do-hyun, there's something else. I've been having dreams. Strange dreams where I can see the Devourer fleet approaching. I can sense their collective mind. It's like nothing I've ever experienced. The quantum connection is growing stronger as they get closer. You're starting to tap into their network. Is that dangerous? Do-hyun thought about Ji-hoon, trapped in the collective consciousness for 3 years. Yes, but it might also be our only hope. The connection was suddenly flooded with interference. Do-hyun could hear other voices, other minds pressing in, from all directions. And underneath it all, something vast and alien was stirring. They know, Haewon said, her mental voice filled with fear. The Devourers know about the baby. They're coming faster now. The connection cut off abruptly, leaving Do-hyun alone with the terrible knowledge that time was running out. In a few days, his child would be born. In a few weeks, the Devourer fleet would arrive at Earth. And somewhere in the space between, the fate of humanity would be decided. Chan-woo appeared in the doorway of Do-hyun's quarters. It is time for the next phase of your training. We must prepare you for direct contact with the Devourer collective mind. Do-hyun nodded and stood up. His mechanical arm was still dead, but he no longer felt incomplete. He was beginning to understand that his real power lay not in his cybernetic augmentations, but in his human consciousness itself. What do I need to do? You must learn to think like a devourer while remaining human. You must understand their collective mind well enough to disrupt it from within. And you must do all of this without losing yourself in the process. And if I fail? Chan-woo's black eyes reflected the light from the glowing walls. Then your species will join the billions of others who have been consumed by the darkness between stars. 3 weeks had passed since Do-hyun began his training with the Seers. His mind had been stretched and reshaped by exposure to quantum consciousness until he could navigate the network of augmented human minds as easily as walking through a familiar room. But the real test was still to come. Kyung-min, the settlement's military strategist, had been working with Do-hyun to develop what they called the Gambit. It was a desperate plan that would require Do-hyun to merge his consciousness completely with the Devourer collective mind and plant what could only be described as a virus made of pure thought. The Devourers think as one mind, Kyung-min explained as they reviewed the plan for the 100th time. Their collective consciousness operates like a vast computer network. But unlike a computer, it is made of living thoughts and memories. That is both their strength and their weakness. Do-hyun studied the quantum maps that showed the structure of the Devourer collective. It was like looking at the nervous system of some enormous creature with billions of individual minds connected by streams of shared consciousness. How do we know the virus will work? We don't, Kyung-min admitted. But we know that human consciousness is chaotic in ways that other species are not. Your thoughts are unpredictable, creative, and contradictory. These qualities should make the virus impossible for the Devourers to contain once it spreads through their network. And what exactly will the virus do? It will remind them of what they were before they became Devourers, before they became a collective mind focused only on consumption and growth. It will plant seeds of individual thought, of curiosity about things other than conquest. Kyung-min activated a holographic display that showed the approaching Devourer fleet. They were only 2 weeks away from Earth now, moving faster than ever before. "There is something else you should know," Kyung-min said. "We have been monitoring communications from your home world. Your partner gave birth 3 days ago." Do-hyun's heart leaped. "Is she all right? Is the baby healthy?" "Both mother and child are well. But the child is exactly as we predicted. She has natural quantum awareness. Even as an infant, she is already connecting to the quantum network." Kyung-min adjusted the display to show Earth's orbital station. "Your military leaders have taken both Haiwan and the child into protective custody. They are being held in a secure facility while scientists study the baby's unique abilities. They're treating my family like laboratory specimens," Do-hyun said, anger rising in his voice. "Perhaps. But there is more. The child has been able to communicate with other augmented humans through the quantum network. She has been sending out what can only be described as messages of hope and unity. Many augmented pilots who were beginning to lose themselves to the Devourer influence have regained their sense of individual identity." This was unexpected. Do-hyun had known his daughter would be special, but he had not imagined she would have such immediate power. "Can I talk to them?" "We have been trying to establish a connection, but your military has been jamming quantum communications. They fear that any contact with the outside might compromise their security." Do-hyun felt frustration building inside. His family was in danger. His people were about to be invaded, and he was stuck on an alien world preparing for a mission that might kill him. At that moment, Sunwoo burst into the room. The young scientist looked excited and terrified at the same time. "The Devourer fleet has changed course," he announced. "They are no longer heading directly for Earth. They have split into multiple groups." Kyung-min quickly adjusted the holographic display. The fleet was indeed breaking apart, with different groups heading toward different parts of the solar system. "What are they doing?" Do-hyun asked. "They are beginning their search pattern," Kyung-min replied grimly. "They are looking for the control device that was lost when their scout ship crashed. They will systematically search every planet, every moon, every asteroid until they find it. How long will that take? If they search thoroughly, several months. But if they find what they're looking for quickly..." Sunwoo was studying his instruments with growing alarm. "There's something else. We're detecting massive quantum disruptions throughout your solar system. The Devourers are using some kind of scanning technology that is interfering with all quantum-based communications." "Including the augmented pilots," Do-hyun realized. "Yes, the disruptions are causing many of the pilots to lose connection with the quantum network entirely. Some are falling into comas. Others are experiencing complete memory loss." Do-hyun felt a chill run down his spine. "What about Haiwan? What about my daughter?" Sunwoo checked his readings. "We cannot tell. The interference is too strong." Kyung-min was studying the tactical display with the intensity of a general planning a battle. "This changes our timeline. We cannot wait for the Devourers to reach Earth, we must act now while they are scattered and vulnerable. I'm not ready, Do-hyun protested. You said I needed more training before attempting to merge with their collective consciousness. You will have to be ready. Every hour we delay, more of your people fall under devourer influence. And if they find the control device before we can stop them, the invasion will be over before it begins. At that moment, the chamber's walls began glowing with urgent red light. An alarm was sounding throughout the settlement. Taemin's voice came through the communication system. All personnel to emergency stations. We are detecting incoming ships. Do-hyun, Kyung-min, and Sun-woo rushed to the main command center. Through the transparent walls, they could see the sky above the settlement. 3 massive ships were descending through the atmosphere, their hulls black as space and covered with strange geometric patterns. Devourer scouts, Mi-young said as they joined her at the command station. They must have detected our quantum communications with Earth. How did they find us? Do-hyun asked. Your connection to the network, Taemin explained. When you contacted the trapped pilot Ji-hoon, you created a quantum trail that led back to this location. The Devourer ships were landing in the crystalline forest around the settlement. Through the quantum sensors, Do-hyun could feel thousands of alien minds pressing against the edges of his consciousness. They know I'm here, he said. They can sense my augmentations. Mi-young was coordinating the settlement's defenses, but Do-hyun could see that they were hopelessly outnumbered. The Seers had hidden from the Devourers for so long that they had never developed weapons capable of fighting them directly. There is one chance, Chan-woo said, appearing at Do-hyun's side. If you can make the quantum connection now, while the Devourer ships are close enough to establish direct contact, you might be able to plant the virus before they can stop you. But you said I wasn't ready. You are not. The connection will probably kill you. But if you don't try, we will all die anyway. Do-hyun looked around at the Seers who had saved his life and taught him about the quantum network. These people had risked everything to help him save his species. What do I need to do? Chan-woo led him to the quantum chamber where he had been training. The crystals on the walls were already glowing with energy, responding to the presence of the Devourer ships. You must open your mind completely to the quantum field. Accept the connection to the Devourer collective consciousness. But remember, you must maintain your sense of individual identity. If you lose yourself in their collective mind, the virus will never spread. Do-hyun lay down on the chamber's central platform. Chan-woo and Sun-woo attached quantum sensors to his head and arms. The virus is already prepared, Sun-woo said. It is encoded into your augmented memory systems. When you make contact with the collective, it will automatically begin to spread. What should I expect? Pain, Chan-woo said simply. More pain than you have ever experienced. The Devourer collective consciousness is vast beyond human comprehension. Your mind will feel like it is being torn apart. Through the chamber's walls, Do-hyun could see Devourer troops moving through the forest toward the settlement. They looked like humans, but their movements were too coordinated, too perfect. They were no longer individuals, but parts of a single organism. Do it, Do-hyun said. Chan-woo activated the quantum field generators. Immediately, Do-hyun's consciousness exploded outward like a nova. His awareness expanded beyond his body, beyond the planet, beyond the star system itself, and then he touched the edge of the Devourer collective mind. The pain was indescribable. It felt like every nerve in his body was being set on fire while his brain was simultaneously frozen and boiled. But worse than the physical agony was the psychological assault. Millions of alien thoughts crashed into his mind like a tsunami. He could feel the collective consciousness trying to absorb him, to make him part of its unified will. He could sense Ji-hoon and the other trapped pilots, their individual personalities slowly being dissolved into the greater whole. But Do-hyun held on to his humanity. He thought about Haiwan and their newborn daughter. He thought about Earth, and all the people who were counting on him. He thought about the chaotic, beautiful madness of human consciousness that made his species unique in the galaxy. And then he released the virus. It spread through the Devourer network like wildfire, carrying with it all the contradictions and creativity of human thought. For the first time in millennia, Do-hyun opened his eyes in the quantum chamber, his body shaking from the effort of disconnecting from the Devourer collective mind. The crystals on the walls had gone dark, and smoke was rising from several of the quantum field generators that had overloaded during the connection. "Did it work?" he asked weakly. Chan-woo was monitoring his instruments with amazement. "The quantum disruptions throughout your solar system have stopped, and we are detecting massive chaos in the Devourer fleet formations. Through the transparent walls of the chamber, Do-hyun could see the 3 Devourer ships that had landed near the settlement. But something had changed. The perfectly coordinated movements of their troops had become erratic and confused. Some of the Devourers had stopped advancing entirely and were standing motionless in the forest. They are experiencing individual thought for the first time in thousands of years," Taemin explained. "Many of them do not know how to process the sensation." Sun-woo was tracking the effects of the virus as it spread through the quantum network. "It is working beyond our expectations. The chaos is spreading from ship to ship, from mind to mind. But there is something else happening." "What?" "Some of the Devourers are not just becoming individuals. They are remembering who they were before they joined the collective. They are remembering their original purposes as explorers and scientists." Kyung-min appeared in the chamber doorway. "We are receiving communication requests from several Devourer ships. They want to talk." Do-hyun struggled to sit up. His mechanical arm was still dead, but the quantum connection had given him access to abilities he had never known he possessed. He could sense minds throughout the galaxy, human and alien alike. "Put me in contact with them." A moment later, Do-hyun found himself in quantum communication with Ji-hoon, his old squadron mate who had been trapped in the Devourer collective for 3 years. "Do-hyun," Ji-hoon's mental voice was clear and strong for the first time since they had reconnected. "I remember who I am. I remember everything. Are you free?" "Yes." "The virus broke the collective's hold on my mind. But more than that, it's spreading to other absorbed pilots. We are all remembering our individual identities. What about the other Devourers?" "That is more complicated. Many of them are confused and frightened by the return of individual thought. But others are embracing it. They are remembering civilizations they conquered long ago, and they are feeling guilt and regret for the first time in centuries." Do-hyun could sense other minds joining the conversation. Dozens of human pilots who had been absorbed into the collective were now free and making contact. But there were also alien minds, former Devourers who were struggling to understand what they had become. One voice stood out among the others. It was ancient and vast, but no longer hostile. "I am the one who was first among the Devourers," the voice said. "I have been the guiding consciousness of the collective for 3,000 years. Your virus has reminded me of what we were before we became what we are now." "What were you?" Do-hyun asked. "We were explorers, scientists. We traveled the galaxy, seeking knowledge and understanding. We wanted to learn from other civilizations, not consume them." "What changed you?" "Fear. We encountered a species that threatened to destroy us utterly. In our desperation to survive, we chose to absorb their knowledge and technology. But in doing so, we also absorbed their hunger for conquest. Over time, that hunger became all we knew." Do-hyun felt a wave of sadness from the ancient consciousness. "Can you change back?" "Some of us can. Some of us want to. But the change will not be easy. We have been a collective mind for so long that many of us do not know how to exist as individuals." At that moment, Do-hyun sensed a familiar presence joining the quantum network. It was his daughter, Na-young, her consciousness bright and pure despite being only days old. "Hello, Daddy," her mental voice said simply. "Na-young, how are you reaching me?" "Mommy taught me. She said you needed help." Suddenly, Haewon's voice joined the conversation as well. "Do-hyun, I can sense what's happening through the quantum network. The virus is working, but some of the Devourer ships are still advancing on Earth. Their crews haven't been affected. Yet. Where are you? Are you and Na-young safe?" "We're in a military facility on Earth's orbital station. General Park has been studying Na-young's abilities. He wants to use her as a weapon against the Devourers." Do-hyun felt anger rising in his chest. "He wants to weaponize our daughter?" "Yes. But Do-hyun, I think Na-young might be the key to completing what you started. She can communicate with both human and Devourer minds without being absorbed by either. She could help bridge the gap between our species." Na-young's consciousness pulsed with an intelligence far beyond her physical age. "The scared ones need help, Daddy. The Devourers who are still afraid. I can talk to them. It's too dangerous." "No, Daddy. I was born for this, to help different kinds of minds understand each other." Before Do-hyun could object, Na-young's consciousness expanded across the quantum network with a power that amazed everyone monitoring the connection. She reached out to the Devourer ships that were still advancing on Earth, her mental voice carrying a message of peace and understanding. The effect was immediate. The advancing ships began to slow and change course. Their crews, infected by Na-young's message of hope, began to question their mission of conquest. But more importantly, Na-young began to serve as a translator between human and Devourer consciousness. She helped the confused former Devourers understand what it meant to be individual beings, while also helping humans understand the genuine remorse and desire for redemption that many of the aliens were feeling. Over the following days, the Devourer fleet gradually transformed from an invasion force into something unprecedented, a collection of individual ships crewed by beings who wanted to atone for their past actions. The first among the Devourers contacted Earth's leaders directly, offering to share the knowledge and technology of thousands of conquered civilizations in exchange for the chance to learn about peaceful coexistence. Many humans were skeptical, but General Park and others eventually agreed to begin negotiations. Na-young served as the primary translator and mediator, her unique consciousness allowing her to bridge the gap between radically different ways of thinking. Do-hyun was eventually rescued from the Seer homeworld by a joint human Devourer expedition. His reunion with Haewon and Na-young took place on Earth's orbital station, surrounded by representatives of 3 different species working together for the first time. "How do you feel?" Haewon asked, as she held their daughter in her arms. Do-hyun looked around at the impossible scene. Humans, seers, and former Devourers were working side by side to establish the foundations of a new galactic alliance. His mechanical arm had been replaced with bio-quantum technology that enhanced rather than limited his human capabilities. "Different," he said honestly. "The quantum virus changed me too. I can sense minds across the entire galaxy now. I know when someone on the other side of the galaxy is in pain or joy or fear. Is it overwhelming? Sometimes. But Na-young helps me process it. She's teaching all of us how to handle quantum consciousness without losing our individual identities." Through the observation windows of the station, Do-hyun could see ships from dozens of different species arriving in Earth's solar system. Word of the transformation of the Devourer fleet had spread across the galaxy, and many civilizations that had hidden from the collective were now emerging to join the new alliance. "Do you think it will last?" Haewon asked. "This peace between our species?" Do-hyun felt the gentle pulse of thousands of connected minds across space. Humans learning from aliens, aliens rediscovering their individual natures. His daughter, serving as a bridge between different forms of consciousness. "I think," he said slowly, "that we've created something new. not just an alliance between species, but a new form of consciousness itself, one that celebrates both unity and individuality. Na Young gurgled happily in her mother's arms, her consciousness touching minds throughout the galaxy with messages of hope and understanding. 5 years later, Do-hyun stood in the gardens of New Seoul, a joint colony orbiting the seer homeworld. Na-young, now old enough to walk and talk, was playing with children from a dozen different species. Her laughter filled the air as she literally glowed with quantum energy. The galaxy was still dangerous, still full of unknown threats and challenges. But for the first time in thousands of years, multiple species were facing those challenges together. Haewon joined him on the observation deck that overlooked the gardens. "Any regrets?" she asked. Do-hyun considered the question. He thought about the crash that had brought him to this world, about the secrets and lies that had led to the crisis, about the desperate gamble that had transformed enemies into allies. "No," he said finally. "Sometimes getting lost leads you exactly where you need to be." Below them, Na-young was teaching a young devourer how to experience individual emotions, while a seer child showed them both how to manipulate quantum fields with their minds. It was a sight that would have been impossible just years before. Do-hyun felt the quantum network pulsing around him, connecting billions of minds across the galaxy in a web of shared consciousness that celebrated rather than erased their differences. His daughter had been right when she said she was born.